Bum 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 bum
Drama.
bum. Ba-ba-da-ba-dun,
Action.
dun-dun, dun, 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 ba-dum, bam, bam,
Comedy.
ba-dum, tss, bum, ba-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun,
Palace intrigue.
dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Clash of the pencils.
Good evening. It is a cold, chilly Mars Day night here in Milford, Delaware. Will Slice continue the domination of the Clash of the Pencils gridiron? Can Racontus rack up another back-to-back win here tonight and maybe take the top slot of the week away? Or is somebody new, an old favorite repeat, going to come in and just blow up the game board? There's only one way to find out, and that's to do this live stream, which we're already a minute into. So welcome back to the Clash of the Pencils nightly live stream, the most watched creative writing esport league live stream in the history of the internet. I'm your host, Tom Sherman. We're here as we are every weeknight to review the top 3 short stories submitted from around the net, get the latest scores, see who's atop the leaderboard, and of course, read through the top 5 sentences of the night. So a quick reminder to the folks out there how to play Clash of the Pencils. And it's frankly very simple. At the end of each night, we reveal the following day's prompt. And then all you have to do is check out the prompt, grab a pen and paper, write a response to that prompt, handwritten. Remember that. Don't type it up. We want to make sure you're a human and not a robot. I mean, no offense to robots. And then all you do is snap a picture of that, upload it, and then boom, you're in the game. It's just that easy to play and potentially win Clash of the Pencils. From there, we field about anywhere from 0s to 10s of submissions every day, which then get run through a high-tech data science algorithm known as Storybot 3000, which uses, among other things, spider webs covered in dew to analyze every story for character, plot, and setting. We then take Storybot's top 3 picks and let you, the public, decide tonight's winner. And that's, where the big money comes in, because whoever wins tonight, besides, of course, fame and glory, gets one of these, an IOU NFT. This is a unique 1 out of 10,000 NFT that's actually an IOU for a future NFT from an upcoming drop from Story Squad. And what exactly does that mean? Well, the current estimated cash value of the IOU NFT is $100 US, but then again, that's not the full value one can get from NFTs. Think of NFTs like keys to the future. Right now, as humans, we interact with businesses and organizations much like ants might their queen, slaving away day in and day out for resources to give to the queen so that she may survive. NFTs turn this one-directional relationship into a community partnership. Owning NFTs of organizations will allow those owners special perks like early access to future products, exclusive content behind paywalls, and access to the inner community. Not only that, but NFTs are transferable, allowing owners to sell at a premium, which in turn appreciate all other NFTs held by community members. So NFTs are part art, part online identity, part admission to a virtual country club, part crypto speculation, part generational wealth, and all real, baby. That is a fact. It is all real. And I'm no lawyer, but I have represented myself in court. So I have been told by my other better half, this is not financial advice, but you want to get one of those NFTs. The other half of me wants to say, if you're taking financial advice from a guy who's hanging out, reading short stories on a live stream, then, you're doing it wrong. That's all I got to say about that. Let's go to somebody who's doing it right. And that's my co-host for the night alongside me to help us break down Storybot's top 3 picks. And that is the certified master by the Breadloaf School of English, Greg, the Reader Peterson. Thanks for joining us today, Reader.
So Horton kept sitting there day after day, and soon it was autumn. The leaves blew away, and then came the winter, the snow and the sleet. and icicles hung from his trunk and his feet. But Horton kept sitting and said with a sneeze, I'll stay on this egg and I won't let it freeze. I meant what I said and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, Tom, 100%.
Wow. Some pretty dense reading you got there tonight.
Seuss's lyricism is second to none.
Second to none. And I also see why you're reading that, because if we take a look at today's writing prompt, your main character gets an all-powerful wish that has unintended consequences, much like Horton sitting on that egg.
The unintended consequences really stretching the bounds of the logical transition here. But yeah, maybe in that Horton hatches the egg. It is the unintended consequences are that he gives birth to an elephant bird.
You know, no one could have seen that coming. Spoiler alert, indeed. Gonna have to deal with a lot of angry fan mail because of that. But hey, that's just part of what we do here at Clash of the Pencils. So if you were an author right here, right now, and you had to write out a one-page story with this prompt, where do you think you would go with it?
Well, it's plot. It's whatever the wish is. The wish has to have some sort of twist in the end. This is ripe for a Shyamalan twist.
That is a fact. I mean, it's so we don't have, if we take a look at our Sussex County s'more, which is our analysis method of dropping marshmallows onto this nacho cheese Dorito to make a rich, sweet, delicious dessert. That is each story. There's not we don't have any characters. That's wide open. We don't have any setting. That's wide open. The plot is also, that's the only thing that's in this prompt really is that wish that has unintended consequences. But even then, that's pretty wide open as well.
Yeah, it's like a classic trope of fairy tales or myths or any sort of lore. It's never, there's always a second layer to whatever. You never get what you want without getting away with it.
That's a fact. I wanted to be a host of a nightly live stream, and
the unintended consequences are the zeros of viewers.
Or maybe that was the intended consequence. I'm not quite sure yet, but here's what I am sure of: the leaderboard. Let's take a look at this. So far this week is shaping up well for Slice, out in front in first place with 305 points. Meanwhile, Ehud in second with 240, and Racontus in third with 180. Mustard Pickle fourth with 100, and then Sliver and K-Stew bringing up the rear here, both under 100 points. Slice in a commanding lead, also in the top three. Racontus in the top three tonight as well. So Ehud, unfortunately, not in the top three. That's gonna be a big hit for them going into tonight's leaderboard. But still anybody's game, really.
Anybody's game. Strong lead from Slice. Eager to see what he came up with. Racontus, always hanging around and dangerous.
That is a fact. Hanging around and dangerous, right you are. So let's get a little dangerous and let's hang out a little bit. And with that, we'll just dive into our first selection from Storybot 3000. And let's go with Racontus. I'm feeling dangerous.
You say unintended like it's a bad thing. It is a bad thing, Chrissy. You wish to be more popular, and you are, but at what cost? Cried Tina. What cost? Who cares? I'm important now. Yeah, but you have like one friend left, me. And you were always important. To me, to our friends. Yeah, but you guys, it doesn't really matter what you do. You're barely noticed. Tina sighed, and Chrissy continued primping in the mirror. True to her word, Chrissy didn't notice when Tina slipped out the bedroom door. Tina hurried home to call the rest of the crew. Chrissy was lost to them. From now on, they'd move in different circles. No animosity, just letting go. By the end of the summer, the group split and headed off to their respective colleges, ready to take on the world. Well, everyone except Chrissy. She was so busy being important, she didn't have time to fill out college applications. A small matter, though, for a popular person like herself. She coasted along, easily landing an administrative job at her uncle's landscaping company. Chrissy stayed popular, like the genie said she would. One day, she thought, It's time to make my popularity work for me. Unique, LuLaRoe, Movat, anyone would be good for a hashtag boss babe like her. She registered as a consultant, put her money down, got the product, and got to work. She was so popular that her contact list was never ending. The constant hustle was addictive. She was so busy leveraging her popularity into cash that she didn't make real connections. People started to avoid her texts and calls, knowing there was a pitch waiting on the other end. Chrissy sat in her garage, surrounded by pyramids of makeup, shampoo, and ready-to-wear casual fashion. Something for everyone, but now Chrissy had no one.
A teenager wishes for popularity and soon outgrows her original friend group. Chrissy then rides that popularity wave into a gig at her uncle's business before striking out on her own, hawking various pyramid schemes to her network. However, the constant sales pitch leaves her alone in a fully stocked garage with unsold product.
I love this hashtag boss babe. The magical wish, or like the genie said it would, is basically just signing up for a bunch of like Mary Kay beauty products. Like that's it. I would say characters are very strong. Racontus gives us that trademark diction, that dialogue to build characters. The some of the speech, this felt like Mean Girls adjacent. The primping in the mirror, the like, that felt very recognizable. The plot, it's basically she wishes. I'm just trying to get my head around, if you're gonna wish for something and all your friends are going to college, are you just wishing to be popular and then trying to sell like, is the popularity so addictive that then you fall in for all these pyramid schemes? Or,
Well, it seemed like she was so popular that she didn't care about the next, you know what I mean, the whole next phase and branching off and starting all over again, right? And so just hanging out around town, getting a job from the uncle, and then saying, how can I make this popularity work for me? And say, oh, I know, I'm a boss babe. I can do one of these schemes. I can do all three of these schemes. I got so much in my network. And then just overcommitting a little bit and driving away all of her sales due to her popularity. And that's that unintended consequence of the wish, it seems.
It seems though that this is so realistic, right? Like,
yeah,
like, this is pure realism.
This is happening right now in America.
It's happening to everyone I know right now, all the time. I was like, where does the genie come in? Like, I don't know if we needed the genie, but maybe it was metaphorical. It does see. I was interested in the no animosity, just letting go, and then she didn't make real connections. There was some. It seemed like, for as popular as she was, that the other people around Chrissy sensed that she needed to be abandoned pretty quick. And so, yeah, it's like the popularity. I wanted more of a rise. It seems like, just to me, like a fall. Like the wish it wasn't unintended. It was just kind of like there was no upside to it.
Well, yeah, and I think that's kind of the story starts out at the top, right? Where it's after she's made this wish, apparently with a genie. We didn't even know it was a genie till halfway through. And so she's having this conversation with her one last original friend. And then so like that rise has already happened. We're kind of jumping in right here in the middle of the story and just seeing that tragic fall. Yeah, rather than the rise and the fall. But it's one page, so
page. Yeah, no.
If you gotta get something in there. So better to watch the popular people fall than the unpopular rise to the top. I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? But and I guess that's what it is, right? Is according to the prompt, we had to see the fall. We had to see the unintended consequence. We didn't have to see the wish.
It would have almost been more interesting if the unintended consequence was like a really close family and really close friends in the end.
That's so
For-
funny.
For
Yeah.
no reason.
Right. Just suffocate Chrissy in
Just
like love and
really
game night.
caring, really like some sort of episode of Seventh Heaven where everyone is just like really in each other's lives and like really supportive.
Interesting. Yeah, I would read that story again. But good start here from the night here for Racontus. Pretty solid triangle, pretty tight. A little bit wonky here and there, but not a bad start. Like we said. So let's go to the second story selected by Storybot for the night. Let's see. We'll do this one. We'll queue up slices. This is slices.
Improvisations, take 777. My life went off sheet after that night in the alley on 3rd with that gypsy and her promise. I gave her an easy 50, worst payout ever, what I earned minutes earlier playing trumpet for Vuvu in exchange for an endowment. One I thought I needed, one I thought we could all use, control. Days prior, I'd failed an audition for Sam Duke's trio, making big sandwich money. Reason was my F-sharp sounded like new pavement. Flat, daddy. The gypsy's kiss gave me that control, and I made that horn sing, Susie. My finances got ordered. I made sound investments, but lost jazz sound thinking. Life waltzed in orderly procession. No deviations, no progress. The control killed my soul, which killed the music of my heart. These sentences I write now, with purposeful fragmentations, can't be loose. Like a Windsor knot choking my voice when I move lips to create real sounds. Cliché seeps into drying ink, with every thought as measured as the last. I looked for the Jippo, trolled the alleys of Shy, paced the frigid lakeside, opened dumpsters on Michigan Avenue, rushed through every kitchen and kicked out the back of comedy clubs and tie rooms. The logic of my search grid spun my head even tighter, top-like. I thought I'd found solace in the zoo, the big cat cages, but that made more sense than life out here on these streets. These cold streetlights looking at us like we're the warm ones. I hailed cabs just to freak out the cabbies, but they had protocol for that. I climbed Tribune Tower, thinking the new view would change my mind, but seeing humanity under me like termites on a log felt right. I thought I'd embrace it. I put down my trumpet back home and picked up meditation. I'd use my organized mind to build my body and see my soul. Snake, arf, grumble, jackrabbit, eager, two-tone, bill, giant, rumble, recycle, Junebug split. See? It still kind of makes sense. On to 778. Tin plant.
All right, a jazz man's life goes off script after wishing for better control. Although the gigs and finances fall into order like steps of a waltz, the edginess and instability of jazz is now lost. The man wanders the streets of Chicago, searching methodically for the gypsy, sending him in a tailspin, searching for escape in the zoo, street lamps, and cabs, before deciding to meditate back into his loose improvisational mindset. Planned Improv 777 leads into Planned Improv 778.
Yeah, what I'm wondering about the deal here, right? It's the unintended consequences are finds a gypsy and then gets to make sound investments and all the kind of freewheeling improvisational brilliance or like that being in the moment that's foreclosed, and the unintended consequences is that's the only thing worth living. That's the only thing. And then there's this relentlessly rational search to get back. My favorite line was it the logic of my search grid started to spin like a top. Like,
Got my mind spinning like top like. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. Somebody once said, like, free association, when you just say whatever comes into your head, is the least interesting thing of all. Reminded of that at the end there. I liked the the paradox of the planned improvisation. The tension between numerically ordering this and trying so desperately to undo the order, like deconstruct the order. Um, it was interesting. It was theoretically interesting. I thought the jazz man's lingo did give me a world and setting. The character, the character and plot, I could have used another character. It had a little bit too much meta commentary for me. Some of the slam poetry things. And by the way, what's big sandwich money?
Oh man, big sandwich money?
Yeah, what is big sandwich money?
I mean, you get big sandwich. I mean, come on.
You have
None of this small sandwich.
You have enough
potatoes.
money. Is that like an idiom that I just outside of my lexicon?
I don't think so. I wish it was Tuesday night. We could get Lady J to do some research on it. I just took it as like, you know, small potatoes, small fries.
Yeah.
Oh, you got some big sandwich. You know what I mean? Oh, you got a little cash for some big
If
sandwiches.
I could title this thing, I think I'd title it Big Sandwich Money.
That's the yeah, no, I definitely agree though with a lot of what you're saying here. Although one of my favorite lines was the first line where it says like my life went off sheet after this chance meeting on because like his whole life was planned, right? It was all planned to be improvisational and loose and jazzy, and then once his life breaks from that plan, that's when he like starts to spiral out of control with, you know what I mean? So it's like almost like his life is more improvisational now under this tight control than it was when he was planning on it being a wild, crazy, you know, live in the moment type scenario. It was, I don't know, a lot to think about. Lot to think about it.
Inside out, like the order and the disorder kept flipping. That was pretty rich. Theoretically to think about. Yeah,
it was quite a romp, and I mean, you know, it was, I don't know. Yeah, I think the setting and the character, I would bring the character in just a little bit, just because since it was so driven from like that first person viewpoint. But the setting, I mean, I was there searching the back alleys of Chicago, just trying to find a shred of something to make me feel again. You know, it was
I will give like a shout out to like the rigor of that search.
Yeah.
Like that was very deliberate and increasingly insane in terms of ratcheting that up, but that was not an improvised search.
It wasn't. And like that was the great thing too, right? Is the cabbie. It's like he just getting in a cab, acting wild, but they had a list. Like it was all ordered. There was no escape.
Yeah.
Sad stuff there. But let's see if we've got one more story of the night. So let's just kick this one off. This is from our old friend Repeat. Repeat hasn't been here in a while, but back, and yes, talking about microbes on Mars.
Marvin, who was just an ordinary Martian microbe, one of billions living undetected a meter or so under the surface of the red planet, was hungry. He was always hungry. There had been no Ares spacecraft missions from Earth for the past 50 Martian years, and without these missions and the organic waste that they inevitably left behind, the microbe's food supply was always running low. Marvin's life consisted solely of searching for anything he could ingest in the depleted Martian soil. Based upon the chemical signals Marvin received from the other microbes, he knew that many of his kind were dying of starvation.
If only the Earthlings would send another spacecraft to Mars,
Marvin thought to himself.
We would have something good to eat again.
And sure enough, Marvin immediately sensed a strong vibration on the surface, signaling a spacecraft landing. But this time, the Ares mission was searching for Martian life under the planet's surface. The Earthlings dug far below and collected Martian soil samples to take back to Earth. Marvin was in one of these samples and made the long trip back to Earth, where he was discovered as the first living creature from Mars. Marvin became a celebrity and lived out his life in a petri dish, ingesting agar and getting fat. He was never hungry again.
A microbe on Mars searches for food, starving along with the rest of its colony for lack of organic waste left behind by human missions to the Red Planet. After receiving several secretions from other microbes about rampant starvation, Marvin wishes that there's another human mission to give them some sustenance. And right on cue, humans land, scoop up Marvin, and subsequently discover him on Earth, becoming a celebrity Martian life form, and never again hungry.
I did not see this unintended consequence coming.
This was a positive unintended consequence.
Credit to the author for giving us a story I have not heard before. So I would say plot, Titus plot of the day. Character, I found it very interesting that instead of using language to communicate with the other microbes, it was just molecular signaling.
Mm-hmm.
And what that brought to me was the level of perspective. We're still in a kind of omniscient, like godlike perspective, describing this thing like almost like a history would be presented. We get reported at what Marvin wants, but we don't get inside of Marvin's head too much.
Mm-hmm.
There were no other characters. All we got was that other ones were objectively suffering and hungry. And then this Martian microbe named Marvin. None of the other microbes, or really, there was the only named thing in the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was able to have some sort of sentience and a deep memory. And it seems like all these other microbes are so ephemeral, but yet this one has remembers when the past,
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like it was the lore master of the microbes and able to track when the Ares mission came there. So I thought there was a lot going on in terms of the narrative perspective combined with the wild and crazy setting with a plot. I don't know, this one this was interesting.
It was interesting. I mean, I think the setting I think the setting and the character, it was I don't know, it was a pretty tight triangle here. Especially considering we're talking about microbes on Mars. I thought one of the interesting things was in one of the past stories from Repeat about Martian microbes, the microbes tried very hard to avoid human detection. And so this time, the unintended consequence, although it's positive for Marvin right now initially, it seems like it might be negative for the colony back home. That it might just spur more scientific missions, more reaching into the
soil. Are you
soil.
saying that Marvin's like the Chrissy of the microbes?
Wow, I am. That's exactly what I'm saying. And whoa, maybe that whole story was like a metaphor for Marvin.
It's in the same consciousness on different planes, different vibrations in the universe. The same, like Marvin is basically just trying to hawk a bunch of micro food supply on the microbe level in a similar way to all the beauty products that Chrissy is doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Both ended up alone. Very popular, but alone.
Exactly. Oh, wow. Exactly. This is crazy. And then that's basically all the chemical secretions coming to Marvin were like, why are you doing this? Don't do this. And he was like, whatever. I'm going to Earth. I'm popular. And wow. We're going to have to get Repeat and Racontus in a room one day and have that hashed out.
That mashup of styles, the world is ready for a real.
The world is ready.
A dialogue heavy, microbe screenplay. Under
I would watch
that. Space opera.
And if one of the two of them win this IOU NFT for the night, they could produce that movie.
They might have enough. Yeah, these are there is no upper bound to how much we're about to put in their pockets. I don't think the internet realizes how valuable these things are, Tom.
No, I don't think so either. And I know there's a lower bound, and that's 0. But we're already there, so it can only go up. You know, that's
Infinitely.
they can only go up
Anything
infinitely.
from 0 is infinite.
It's, you know, so speaking of infinite, there are not infinite a number of opinions that we care about. There's only two, and it's neither mine and it's not yours either. And two opinions we care about: Storybot 3000, who generates our top 3 picks of the night, and then of course the public at large out there on the internet, our 3 viewers watching. Appreciate it. So let's just get to it. Let's get to see who they wanted to pick, who they wanted to win the night. So all I have to do is click this button on Storybot 3000, who's now telling me the leaderboard has been updated successfully. So let's hit refresh and take a look. What is going to happen? Who's going to take home the IOU NFT? Repeat, Rack and Toos, Slice, all in the mix. And there it is,
Boom!
Repeat on top with the dramatic tale of Marvin the microbe, the Martian microbe. I mean, just when I think I'm never going to hear another microbe story from Repeat again, comes back, sweeps me off my feet, and at least tonight taking home an NFT.
The internet is saying there's a heavy demand for microbe pick.
That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting from it. And Rack and Toos in second place with 125. So that microbe Mean Girl mashup, it's there. It's there. And Slice in third with 115. Ehud on the outside looking in with 63. So let's see how that plays out for the week. Now Slice with 420 points, still on top pretty handily. About 120 point lead over Rack and Toos and Ehud, although Rack and Toos now sneaking into second place. Meanwhile, Repeat, Mustard Pickle, Sliver, and K-Stew, I mean, they're outside of the top 3 of the week and pretty close to out of the weekly hunt at large. I don't know. Repeat still might be able to pull it off with a couple more microbe stories and a little bit of luck.
Let's hope this really emboldens that author to explore the subterranean space here.
That's a fact. And let's see if tomorrow's prompt will help with that quest. What is the origin of the phrase, let the cat out of the bag? Interesting.
Man, feel bad for that cat.
Is that where you would go as an author tomorrow, is from a first person point of view of the cat inside the bag?
I just am worried Slice is gonna do some like weird trippy Schrodinger's cat thing from like the consciousness of the dead and alive at the same time.
You should be worried.
Slice. Don't do that.
Be worried about that, and you just gave him the idea.
Yeah.
So that's probably exactly where it's going. Interesting. We'll have to see where people end up with that one. Who let the cat out of the bag, or what is the origin of the phrase "let the cat out of the bag"? Could go a lot of ways, but right now this stream can only go one more place, and that's to the top 5 sentences of the night. So let's get into it. Number 5 from Slice. These cold streetlights looking at us like we're the warm ones. All right.
No comments.
No comment. No comment here either.
Storybot hang out there.
Enjoyed it. Yeah. Number 4 from Ehud. I don't have all day. My interdimensional portal closes in 3 minutes, the impatient man said, opening and shutting the watch face like an 1800s fidget spinner.
I like that image. And then interdimensional portals getting very extraterrestrial tonight.
It sure was. Ehud making an attempt at a sequel from their story from yesterday, although not quite good enough to get into the top 3, unfortunately for Ehud. Number 3 from Repeat. Based upon the chemical signals Marvin received from other microbes, he knew many of his kind were dying of starvation.
For all the trauma of that is the most clinically detached description of famine and mass starvation I've ever heard of.
That's a fact. But driving the plot nonetheless, somehow, some way, keeping those microbes at top of mind, not only in that story, but in the public at large, taking home that NFT. Number 2 from Rack and Toos. Chrissy sat in her garage surrounded by pyramids of makeup, shampoo, and ready-to-wear casual fashion. Something for everyone, but now Chrissy had no one.
Oh, unintended, devastating unintended consequence.
Just sitting around. The pyramid schemes are now stacked in pyramids. I mean, that's just multiple layers of just brutality imposed on Chrissy in her
Sitting on a
garage.
pyramid of makeup shampoo and ready to wear casual fashion. It's a pretty bleak. That's a pretty bleak garage.
Almost like entombed, like the pharaoh.
Yeah.
Like whoa.
And you know that pyramid stuff's not good stuff. You know that's cheap stuff.
Yeah, it's can't be. I mean, it can't be smelling great. I mean, it probably smells probably irritating to the eyes, the skin. You know, I don't know. Number 1 from Slice. These sentences I write now with purposeful fragmentations can't be loose, like a Windsor knot choking my voice when I move lips to create real sounds. Just a
Schizophrenically detached little way of representing human speech there, but effective.
Effective nonetheless. And Storybot 3000 really taking a liking to those purposeful fragmentations, apparently. I'd like to point out, reading like a Windsor knot choking my voice when I move lips to create real sounds, reading that out loud, like, it does something to your brain where you're like, you know, I don't know what's going on there, but scary stuff. Well written, and that's it. That's all it is. There's nothing else. That's it. We can all go home. That wraps up another edition of the Clash of the Pencils nightly live stream. So definitely join us back here tomorrow for another epic battle of tales. And until then, we'll see you folks out on the paper.
Do you want to participate in the Clash of the Pencils and Story Squad universe? It's easy. Join us on Twitter or in our Discord server at Story Squad HQ. There's lots of ways to participate. Draw some fan art. Play our addictive game of jokes and master strokes, Word Hoax. Or join Greg's monthly book club. And as always, remember to pay your cat tax. Money, fame, and love can all be found here at Story Squad.